and welcome to the very first episode of Bilyonaryo Quiz B. I'm David Celdran, your quiz master. I hope you're as excited as we are here at the Bilyonaryo News Channel for the triumphant return of academic quiz shows to television, because we're bringing you a truly special episode today. And what better way to celebrate the comeback of knowledge on TV than by organizing a reunion of some of the country's best quiz athletes. These are brilliant minds that graced Philippine TV quiz shows in the 1990s and the 2000s. So without further ado, we bring you the return of the champions. Our first contestant has been a beacon of knowledge and competitive spirit since the early 90s. His journey has taken him from the grand finals of Battle of the Brains, where he narrowly missed victory, to finally clinching the championship twice in the Battle of the Brains exhibition matches that followed, and to finally becoming a respected professional electronics engineer and project manager in the telecommunications industry. A lifelong learner and quiz enthusiast, Oliver continues to engage in pub quizzes, fostering a community of knowledge seekers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome quiz powerhouse Oliver Tungol. From the iconic Battle of the Brains in 1992 to today, our second contestant has been known as a knowledge aggregator with an uncanny ability to answer questions before they're even finished. Name the first American president to visit the Soviet. Orion.
Oh, that's Richard Nixon?
That's correct, in 1972. As a second-year Ateneo de Manila student and Battle of the Brains finalist, he became instantly recognizable across the Philippines, often being asked for autographs while walking through malls. Today, Orion has transformed that intellectual curiosity into a remarkable career spanning multinational companies like Microsoft, HP, and Philips. His lifelong quest to understand why the Philippines isn't progressing faster led him to become a passionate advocate for constitutional reform, serving as a consultant to legislators and contributing author to books on federalism. With 6 languages under his belt and a talent for singing, this Renaissance man now runs his own successful tech startup. Bilyonaryo Quiz B fans, show some love for Renaissance man Orion Perez-Dumdum. From the bustling streets of Manila to the bright lights of television, our last contestant has been a trivia aficionado since childhood. Karl Aguilar, who grew up with a boundless thirst for knowledge, is the first non-celebrity champion of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? With a degree in journalism from Manuel L. Quezon University, this young man has carved out a successful career as a freelance copywriter and journalist. His love for trivia has never waned, and he has remained an active participant in the quiz community, often joining pub quizzes and engaging with fellow enthusiasts. Despite being a decade younger than the first 2 contestants, Karl's extensive knowledge spans geography, history, and general information, making him a formidable opponent. Hail the return of millionaire trivia champion Karl Aguilar. Of iconic quiz shows from the 1990s through the 2000s, and we have 3 of them here today. Great to see you guys. Let's meet one of our first contestants. He used to be for the very first season of Battle of the Brains. Good to see you again, Orion.
Good to see you, David.
Bonjour, Monsieur Orion.
Bonjour aussi. Je suis très heureux d'être ici.
6 languages. You know, you've always been a showman. I always told everyone. Orion Perez-Dumdum was a showman, a proto-reality TV kind of character. That was way back in the 90s. Today, Orion, you are a public figure. You have a media career as well, apart from your tech career. How much of that early exposure to television and quiz shows has helped you in your career?
Well, yeah, I mean, the fact that I kind of like reading and all that stuff, the stuff that made me excel in Battle of the Brains, that knowledge kind of helped me in all this as well. So, yeah, I guess they're all connected.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the confidence as well,
Gives you
right?
the confidence, yeah.
Thanks so much, Orion. We'll have more of you in a while. Let's say hello to Oliver once again. Oliver, it's been forever since I last saw you in the 1990s. I remember back then, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a certain haircut.
That's right.
Done a certain way. Was it for good luck? What was it for?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it today because of the queue is really long.
That's right, that's right. So what does it feel like to be back in a television quiz show? I know you're very active in the quiz scene, but what about being on television again?
Oh, I'm really excited and thrilled to be part of this show once again and be part of the renaissance of TV quiz show culture in the Philippines.
That's right, we hope so. And with your help, hopefully we get there. Carl,
Yeah.
of course, this is the first time I'm meeting you.
Yeah.
You were, of course, a alumni of a different quiz program. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You took home 2 million pesos, I understand.
Yeah.
In that series, amazing. I mean, I guess college students who are listening to us right now want to get tips from you. What's the best tip you can give them, Carl?
I guess you have to strike a balance between, doing the best that you can, but at the same time not putting too much pressure on yourself. So
All
you
right,
have to strike that balance.
That's a really great one, right? Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because I'm going to tell all of you guys right now, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And when you have fun, the brain works extra time and things get done. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible lineup we have here today. With these three intellectual powerhouses clashing for cash prizes and besting each other for BQB bragging rights, we have an exciting one-off return of the champions match ahead of us. But before we begin, let me explain the format that Bilyonaryo Quizbee will be using in all its elimination episodes in the season to come.
Today's elimination episode will have 3 rounds, with the first 2 rounds covering history, science and technology, arts and literature, math and logic, geography and nature, and general information. After round 2, the contestant with the highest score will advance to the final bonus round, where the 2 with the lowest scores will be eliminated. Let's break down the mechanics of round 1. There are 12 questions worth 1,000 pesos each. The first contestant to buzz gets to answer. Correct answers earn points, while incorrect answers give the remaining opponents a chance to steal. So let's see who can outsmart and outbuzz their opponents in round 1 of the Bilyonaryo Quizbee.
Because this is a special return of the champions match, we will be asking slightly tougher questions today, but I don't really think so. You guys are great. You can answer this. Okay? But even if our veteran quizzers have the advantage of age and experience and wisdom, they still have to abide by the same BQB rules as our college contestants in this upcoming season. Now, after buzzing in, they must wait for me to acknowledge them before they begin answering. Otherwise, they forfeit their turn. So, let's start by testing your buzzers, Oliver. All right, that's working. Orion. That's working as well. Carl. Whew, okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's begin with the first round. This is just the first round, 1,000 pesos for every correct answer. We'll begin with a question in history. Listen in. When the Philippines entered the age of television in the 1950s, the first program seen on local screens was a garden party where the special guest was which Philippine president? Carlo.
Elpidio Quirino.
Elpidio Quirino is correct. 1950s, and that was in the home of his brother in San Juan. His brother was a justice. That was Carl, you're off to a good start. Ryan, Oliver, let's get back in the saddle. All right, next question. This is in science and technology. From the Greek words for similar and stable, what term denotes the tendency of an organism to maintain an internal state of equilibrium? Oliver?
Homeostasis.
Homeostasis is the correct answer. Homeo, of course, Greek for similar, same, stasis, stable, homeostasis. You guys are doing fantastic. 1,000 each for Oliver and Carl. Let's go to our next question. Arts and literature. Identify this music icon. He held a concert in the Philippines in the 1970s and went on to become the first and only individual inducted 3 times into the Rock and Roll. Oliver?
Eric Clapton.
Say that again?
Eric Clapton.
That's correct. Eric Clapton. Let me just finish the question. He was inducted 3 times into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's go to our next question. Math and logic. You may or may not need to solve for this. In what branch of applied mathematics do you analyze situations in which players make decisions that are interdependent? Orion.
Game theory.
Correct. It's game theory. It was pioneered by John von Neumann, a Hungarian-American theorist, mathematician, considered one of the greatest of all time. Orion, that's good. Let's go to our next question. Geography and nature. I love this question. from Manila, or Metro Manila, where we are right now in the Philippines, if you were to dig straight through the Earth's center, you'll end up in what, Oliver?
Bohol.
Bohol is wrong. Let me finish the question. If you dig straight to the Earth's center, you'll end up in what continent? If you're to dig. 5 seconds. Guess? Carl was first.
North America.
North America. Wrong.
Sayang.
Would you like to steal, Orion? Go ahead.
South America.
Correct. It's South America. Anyone know which country in South
Brazil,
America?
Brazil.
Somewhere in eastern Brazil would have been the exact point where if you were to dig, but it's not even possible to do that, right? Not in this century at least. Great. You guys are living up to your champion's reputation. Let's go to our next question. General information. A grandmaster at the age of 13, what 5-time world champion is dubbed the Mozart of chess? Oliver.
Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen.
Correct. Magnus Carlsen is the full name. There's no other Carlsen anyway, right? I would have considered Carlsen. Yes, the Mozart of chess, Norwegian prodigy, and still the highest rated chess player of all time. Next question. History. In the time scale of geologists, we are currently living in what epoch that literally means whole new? In the time scale of geologists, we're currently living in what epoch that literally means whole new? 3 seconds. Oliver?
Neolithic.
Neolithic is not correct. Orion, Carl, would you like to steal? Carl.
Holocene.
Holocene is correct. Amazing, amazing. And very tight race so far. 3,000 for Oliver, 2,000 for Orion, Carl is 2,000, and we're still on round number 1. Let's go to our next question. Science and technology. Okay, this will require some brain power, some kind of mental analysis, so I'll read the question twice. This answer, by the way, requires 3 answers in correct sequence. Again, 3 answers in correct sequence. Now here's the question. The symbols of what 3 chemical elements can be arranged to spell the word brain, or B-R-A-I-N. The symbols of what 3 chemical elements can be arranged to spell the word brain. B-R, Oliver?
Boron, radium, indium.
Boron plus radium plus indium is the correct answer. You are right, Oliver. B-R-A-I-N, brain. Got to brush up on your periodic table, right? It's been a long time since college. I understand just how difficult it is to dig deep into your memory banks. Let's continue. Arts and literature. In the 2016 international best-selling novel Conclave by Robert Harris, what is the nationality, Orion?
Filipino.
That's a risk, right? What do you think the rest of the question was?
Well, I was thinking it was going to be the original novel rather than the movie. The movie has a Mexican, but I'm taking a chance that it's actually the original novel.
Amazing. You are correct.
Yeah.
Filipino. Let me just finish the question. In the 2016 international best-selling novel Conclave by Robert Harris, of which the film was based on, the nationality of the little-known cardinal who becomes the new pope was Filipino. Right. In the movie, it was a Mexican, and his name was Vincent Benitez. Very Pinoy name, very Mexican as well. So the scriptwriters probably just flipped it and made him Mexican. Amazing. That's why you're known for answering before the questions are over. Let's go to our next question. Math and logic. Okay, I'll read the question twice. It'll require some mental math or some solutions on paper if you wish. What number is exactly between 1/2 and 1/4? What number is exactly between 1/2 and 1/4? 5 seconds. Orion, give it a shot.
1/3.
That's not correct. Time's up. No one's right? No one buzzed? Did anyone consider anywhere near 3/8? The answer is 3/8. 3/8. You add 1/2 and 1/4, that's equal to 2/4, plus 1/4 is equal to 3/4, divided by 3/4 by 2, you get 3/8. I could never have solved that. That's just my answer key. Okay, next question. Whoa, really close fight. Geography and nature. This country won the World Basketball Championship in Manila in 1978. But today, that country no longer exists, having been dissolved. Oliver.
Yugoslavia.
That is correct. Having been dissolved into six separate republics in the early 90s, I'm referring to Yugoslavia, which broke up into today's powerhouse basketball countries: Croatia, Serbia, Montenegro, Slovenia. All the best players from Europe pretty much come from that part of the world, Yugoslavia. Let's go to our next question. General information. What 11-letter buzzword originated from a 1944 film starring Ingrid Bergman, whose character is manipulated to make her doubt her own sanity? Oliver.
Schizophrenia.
Wrong. 11 letters. Orion.
Gaslighting.
That's right. The word, not the film. The film was Gaslight. Ingrid Bergman was the lead actress in that film. And of course, she won the Oscar for her performance in that film. Today we say gaslighting to mean, you cast out on your own sanity because someone just either ignores you or flips the script on you. Wow, that's really amazing. Our returning champions are just doing fantastic. Oliver has 5,000 points. Orion, just one correct answer away with 4,000 points. Karl, you're not too far away with 2,000 points. And the best thing is, Karl, you'll have a lot of chances to catch up. So too with you, Orion, because in the upcoming round, we'll have 2,000 pesos for every correct answer for those 12 questions. However, one of those questions will be a Bilyonaryo booster question, double the money points of that particular question. Are you ready for that? Let's take a break first. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Bilyonaryo Quiz B, Return of the Champions edition. Now, after an exhilarating kickoff competition, our quiz giants look eager to answer more questions and win even more money in this next round. However, let's take a moment to ask our champions some this time easy personal questions. But Oliver, you're in the lead right now with 5,000 points. Let me start with you. I know you're really excited about the return of an academic quiz show on Philippine TV. And a lot of people are saying that it's a bit overdue because there's this perception that this generation today could benefit from more exposure to academic quiz shows, which is a riddle because with all the access to information today, ChatGPT, AI, Wikipedia, the internet, why is that?
Well, of course, the availability of information, easy access now, it's both good and bad. Good because it's so easy, available everywhere. However, we tend to take it for granted. So back in the days, you need to try harder to get info. So
that was I was getting at.
Yeah.
What was it like back in the day without the internet? 1990s, wala pa masyadong internet unless you're very wealthy.
If you exert more effort, you're gonna retain the information better.
Orion, you come from the 90s generation, and that was just that transition to the information age, right? Which you lived through.
Yeah.
You actually went through after college. Apart from the difficulty of doing research, accessing information, your generation pulled it off. The criticism about the standards of education not being quite where it was before. Not sure if it's valid, if it's just a perception, but what do you think and what could be a fix?
I think a fix that we could have, a quick fix that we could have, is to learn best practices from some of the other better performing countries around the region, maybe something like Singapore. And there's nothing wrong with copying. I mean, in school, you're not supposed to copy from your seatmate, but countries are totally allowed to do so. And I think that's what we need to do. Just learn from what successful countries are doing. Like if they're doing very well in education, let's copy what they're doing. Let's learn from them.
Karl, I want to ask you about college students who want to prepare for the show. It's more than just about researching, of course, more than just going online, because there's so much more information online right now. It's probably much more difficult these days, actually, just the amount of information. What else is needed to succeed in a game show, Karl, apart from just, basic intelligence?
Well, for me, the contestant or someone who wants to join a game show should have a sense of confidence. Regardless of like in my case, I'm admittedly a shy person, but because my passion for knowledge, and being able to, it's my dream. You could say a dream, maybe too lofty to be. Doing something like that. You gather enough confidence to.
I love that, Karl. And if you're a role model, you're an inspiration to all those shy men and shy women out there in college. I mean, look, Carlos is one of the champions of the past with 2 million pesos under his belt and hopefully much more cash here today. Yeah. All right, so Karl, Orion, Oliver, are you ready for the next round? All right,
let's go.
Buckle up because we're zooming straight into the second round of Bilyonaryo Quiz B, Return of the Champions.
In round 2, the game mechanics remain the same, but the questions are now more difficult and worth 2,000 pesos each, except for the Bilyonaryo Booster question, which is worth an exciting 4,000 pesos. No wagers, no penalties, just a big-time boost to get our contestants nearer the Bilyonaryo Quiz B finish line. At the end of this round, the 2 contestants with the lowest scores will be eliminated, leaving one weekly winner to advance to the bonus round and a slot in the semifinals. If round 2 ends in a tie, the game goes into a sudden death tiebreaker, where the first contestant to answer correctly wins. So get ready, contestants. May the Bilyonaryo Quiz B odds be in your favor.
Again, champions, remember to wait for me to acknowledge you before you give an answer, otherwise you forfeit your turn. So let's have your hands close to the buzzers, and remember, wait for me to say an answer is wrong before you can steal. Otherwise, you will not be able to steal. All right? We'll go to round 2, same categories, just a bit more specific, but of course, twice the amount of money points for every correct answer. Let's start with a question in history, in exploration. In 1522, after a nearly 3-year endeavor, who was awarded with a royal coat of arms bearing a globe and the Latin phrase primus circum dedistime? Orion.
Christopher Columbus.
Christopher Columbus is not correct.
Sorry.
Karl?
Sebastian Del Cano.
Sebastian
Del Cano.
Del Cano or De El Cano. Sebastian Elcano is the correct answer. That is correct. Primus circum dedistime, which means, of course, you were the first to navigate me. Speaking about the globe. Of course, the first wasn't just him. It was Magellan first, who of course was killed in the Philippines. Sebastian Del Cano finished the rest of the journey and, of course, finished it in Spain, and he got the coat of arms. Okay, let's go to our next question. So that was 2,000 points now, so Karl is tied with Orion. Let's go to science and technology. What 11-letter word refers to a theoretical future event at which computer intelligence surpasses that of humans? 11-letter word refers to a theoretical future event at which computer intelligence surpasses that of humans. 5 seconds. Karl, would you like to try?
Dystopia.
Dystopia is wrong. Anyone like to steal? Orion, give it a shot.
Future shock.
Future shock, not correct. Oliver, why not?
Sentience.
The correct answer, because it's 11 letters, right, is singularity. Singularity, often called technological singularity. We'll consider that, but because we're looking for an 11-letter word, it's singularity. Okay, let's go to our next question. This is exciting, a little more difficult than previously. Arts and literature in film, particularly. In 2023, what portmanteau, or combination of words, was coined to celebrate the simultaneous release of 2 Hollywood blockbuster films? Karl.
Barbenheimer.
That is correct. Barbenheimer. 2 Hollywood feature films of starkly different character and genre. One was a very serious Oppenheimer. The other was a very light Barbie. Barbenheimer is, of course, the portmanteau that was given 2.5 billion viewers or moviegoers combined watching those films. Let's go to our next question. Math and logic may or may not need to solve for this. A parabola is a U-shaped curve where every point on the curve is the same distance from a fixed straight line called Oliver.
Focus.
That is correct. Focus. Yes. I thought you were gonna say directrix because that was like the rest of the question. A parabola is a U-shaped curve where every point on the curve is the same distance from a fixed straight line called directrix. and a fixed point known as what? Answer is focus. You knew this answer, but Oliver was first. And we had 2,000 points. You now have 7,000. Back in first place. Next question. World landmarks. The locals call it Mosioatunia, which means the smoke that thunders. A fitting name because the constant spray it produces is as thick as smoke. What African landmark is this? Orion.
Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's not correct. Let me finish the question. Well, actually, I already gave the question.
Oh, I know.
So 5 seconds. Locals call it Mosioatunia, smoke that thunders. What African landmark are we looking for? I bet you knew what it was, Orion. Go ahead.
But I won't get any points.
Of course.
Can I try?
What is the answer?
Victoria Falls.
Waterfall yun. Ano?
Victoria
Victoria
Falls. The smoke or the mist from the falls was so powerful, it looks like smoke. Thick blanket of smoke. Border of Zimbabwe and Zambia. World's largest wall of falling water as well. All right, so far so good. I mean, still very close. Let's go to our next question. This is money and music. Okay, this should be easy. Or maybe not. By the way, this is a Bilyonaryo booster question, so we're doubling the money points. This will be worth 4,000 pesos. This is gonna spring you to the lead for anyone. Let's go to this question. Okay, money and music. In 2023, 2 terms were separately invented to explain the business impact of the music concerts of a popular female artist. Name either of these 2 invented finance-related terms. We're looking for the finance-related terms that has to do with Orion.
Taylor Swiftonomics or something. I don't know.
I'll give you a chance.
Yeah. Swiftonomics.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's correct.
Yeah.
Swiftonomics or Taylornomics.
Taylornomics.
Taylor Swiftonomics. Okay, but we will consider the answer. All right, Orion, 4,000 points go straight to you. All right. Just let me finish the question for our audience. Now, this is invented to explain the business impact of music concerts of a popular female artist. We're referring to Taylor Swift, of course, because that new era tour of hers, or the Eras tour of hers, was so spectacular, it became an economic phenomenon, okay? Discussed by economics professors as well. So let's go to our next question. This is in history, but we're looking for top secret stuff, okay? That's a clue. Named after a small common tool. What secret operation brought scientists and engineers from the former Nazi Germany to the United States at the end of World War? Karl.
Paperclip.
That is the correct answer. At the end of World War II, it was paperclip. Correct.
You got it first.
Very good, Karl. That's 2,000 points, though. You're tied with Orion at this point. Oliver, just behind by 1,000 points. Let's go to our next question. We're 2,000. All right. Scientific minds. That's a clue, a category. Totally blind in his final years, he produced a vast amount of mathematical work, including a formula described as the most beautiful equation ever. Oliver.
Euler.
We'll consider that. Euler there's no other Euler anyway, right? Yeah. So Leonhard Euler is the correct answer, yes. Euler's identity, considered beautiful because it reveals a deep relationship between seemingly disparate areas of mathematics, and he was Leonhard Euler, spelled as E-U-L-E-R. Let's go to our next question. This is in theater. What Filipina first gained international acclaim for playing on stage a tragic Asian named Orion?
Lea Salonga.
Another risk there. Lea Salonga is wrong.
Oh.
Playing on stage a tragic Asian Chocho-san who was abandoned by her American lover in the opera. Karl?
Jovita Fuentes.
That's correct. Jovita Fuentes. Madame Butterfly in 1925. Lea Salonga would be the modern iteration of that Puccini opera, Madame Butterfly, which is Miss Saigon. But of course, the original was the Filipina Jovita Fuentes, national artist, by the way, nicknamed the Maestra. Let's go to our next question. This is really tight now. 10,000 for Karl, 8,000 for Ryan, 9,000 for Oliver. Everyone very close to each other. Question number 10. In mental math, let's do some mental math, guys. I'll read the question twice. What is the geometric mean of 5 and 45. What is the geometric mean of 5? All right, our engineering graduate has an answer. Oliver?
15.
That's correct, 15. Geometric mean of 5 and 45 is 15. Divide 45 by 5, you get 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Multiply 5 by 3 or divide 45 by 3. Either way, you still get the same answer. The answer is 15. Oliver, you are now back in the lead. Let's go to our second to last question, question number 11. Whew. This is giving me goosebumps. This is like deja vu. After all those years, we're back. Countries, right? We're looking for countries of the world. The world is divided into 4 hemispheres: northern, southern, eastern, and western. The question, however, is, what is the only country situated in all 4 hemispheres? There's one country in the world that's situated in the midst, at the center of all 4 hemispheres. What country is that, Oliver? To give you a comfortable lead from the rest.
Ecuador.
Is it Ecuador in the equator? That's not correct. You gotta situate that country. Sitting. Karl, what's your answer?
Kiribati.
Say that again.
Kiribati.
Spell it.
Kiribati.
That's correct. Or Kiribati. It's pronounced as Kiribati, but because it's phonetic and we ask you to spell it out, we'll give you the points. Kiribati is correct. Okay, this brings us to our last question for 2,000 points. Right now it's between Karl and Oliver. Orion, of course, to take home that extra cash. But you guys are doing fantastic. Let's go to our last question. This is in special studies. Partly derived from the Greek word for riddle. It is the academic study of puzzles and puzzle construction. What is it called? How is it called? Partly derived from the Greek word for riddle. It is the academic study of puzzles and puzzle construction. How is it called for our last question? 2,000 points. Deciding question for Karl and Oliver. All right, Karl.
Cryptology.
Cryptology. Wrong.
Okay.
But good for you, no minus points. Oliver, it's do or die. You got to do this. Orion, you're free to answer. But you know what? Fantastic. You guys are just all so close to each other, just 1 or 2 questions away from each other. Oliver, if you have no answer,
Oh my God.
we're going to give this game to Karl.
Let me try.
Just say it. Anything. Who knows?
Gameology.
Gameology. Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's wrong. The answer is enigmatology. Karl, you are the champion of our Return of the Champions with 12,000 pesos. Orion, 8,000 pesos. Oliver, 11,000 pesos. The great thing about this is they're all good friends and they all did fantastic today. Give yourselves a big round of applause. You guys are amazing. And let me just say that you are all worthy of being called returning champions. It was great to see you again, Oliver. Oliver Tungol, don't forget. It's always great to have you on the show. Of course, good luck in your advocacies, Orion.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you in as a public figure in the future. Of course, Karl, you're not going anywhere. Congratulations.
you.
We'll have you back for the bonus round right after this break. Welcome back to Bilyonaryo Quiz D, Return of the Champions. That's right, our winning champion has finally made it to our lightning fast bonus round. But before we get into that, let me share what everyone at home can expect from the upcoming Bilyonaryo Quiz B College Edition. Karl, it's going to be really exciting. We're going to have 2 million pesos at stake. Of course, 1 million is the grand prize, and the rest of it will be given away throughout the different weeks and elimination rounds. We have 9 elimination rounds, 3 semi-final rounds, and of course the grand finals, which will happen around August. Now we have students from across the country. BQB is sure to bring out their school pride, and we can expect maybe, fantastic prizes for our winning contestants, all right? So, Here we are, Karl, ready for the bonus round. Now, earlier you said that you were one of the shy types, but you had enough confidence to come here today, enough confidence to compete in the past. And what do we know? You're now here as our returning champion. How does it feel like?
It's exhilarating, and of course, there's a bit of nervousness because, the game's not over.
The game is not over, indeed. We have the bonus round. I was curious about this, and people might be watching and saying, what is that? Is that like a graduation sash, or it's a good luck charm? What is it?
It's actually an accessory I bought because I went on a trip to Davao recently, and I came across this one. I think it's a scarf. I'm not sure, but
right. Hang on to it, Karl, because that could be your good luck charm. You've had a lot of great luck today up against those really amazing competitors earlier on in the previous rounds. Okay, so let's find out what the mechanics are for our bonus round.
In the Bilyonaryo bonus round, our weekly winners face off against a 60-second clock to answer 10 questions worth 3,000 pesos each. Once a question is asked, the contestant can either take their time to consider their best answer, or they can say pass and move on to the next one. After that, the question is discarded and will not be asked again, even if there is time left on the clock. To begin the bonus round, our weekly winners must first pick one of 3 mystery categories. Let's hope they choose wisely.
So let's take a look at your mystery categories. We have 3 choices. It's an honor. We're number 1, Latin lovers. Mystery category because it's not quite clear what we're going to ask you, but you might pick up some clues from the way those categories were phrased. Can you choose one?
it's an honor.
It's an honor. Now, what do you think we're looking for here?
I guess people who won like honors or distinctions.
That is exactly what we're looking for. Good intuition. It's all about famous awards, their creators, and their winners. Okay, so 60 seconds to answer this bonus round, 10 questions, no do-overs, and of course, 3,000 pesos for every correct answer you get. And apart from that, you'll have to wait for me to say the timer begins now before you start answering. Okay? So let's begin with the bonus round. Armi Kusela of Finland, who later married a Filipino, was the first winner of this title in 1952. Time starts now.
Miss Universe.
Correct. Founded by an American publisher, it honors brilliance in journalism, literature, and music.
Pulitzer Prize.
Correct. Of the 6 Nobel Prizes, it's the newest one.
Economics.
Correct. Highest military award of the United States.
Medal of Honor.
Correct. For cooking excellence, a restaurant can earn up to 3 of these prestigious marks. 3 marks.
Michelin stars.
Correct. Teofilo Ildefonso won the very first Olympic medal of the Philippines in this sport. Any sport. Pass. At age 59, he was the oldest to be named sexiest man alive by People magazine.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Major entertainment trophy depicting the famous invention by Emil Berliner. Trophy.
Pass.
Pass. This medal is often called a Nobel Prize of Mathematics.
Pass.
Time is up. All right, so let's go back to let's go through the questions we weren't able to go through. Actually, just the last question. And it's bearing a president's name. It's the highest civilian award of the Republic of the Philippines. Anyone here? Highest civilian award? Quezon Service Cross is the highest one. Okay? And let's go to our questions that you were able to answer. Armi Kusela, Miss Universe is right. 3,000 pesos. Founded by an American publisher. Honors journalism, literature, and music brilliance. The Pulitzer Prize is correct. Of the 6 Nobel Prizes, you said economics is as the newest. That is correct. Highest military award in the United States. It is the Medal of Honor. In cooking excellence, a restaurant can earn up to 3 Michelin stars. That is correct. Now let's go to the questions you passed. Teofilo Ildefonso won the very first Olympic medal of the Philippines. In what sport, guys? Swimming. Swimming is the answer. Sexiest man alive, named by People magazine. When he was age 59, he's passed away. Would you know this now? James Bond? Which James Bond?
Connery.
Sean Connery is the answer. Major entertainment trophy depicting the famous invention by Emil Berliner. If you knew what the invention was, it was the gramophone, right? So Grammy is the award.
Okay.
This medal is often called the Nobel Prize of Mathematics. It's the Fields Award.
Okay.
And yep. And the last question, of course, you were unable to answer, the Quezon Service Cross. But still, that's quite a lot of points that you took home Let's find out how much you take home today, apart from being the return of the champion for BQB. All right, you had 12,000 pesos earlier in the elimination round, and in the bonus round, you have 15,000 pesos. 27,000 pesos is what you take home.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money.
you.
Not as much as the millions you take home before,
Hey,
but
no.
still cash you can take
Yeah.
home and use. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Well, we all look forward to the college edition of BQB. In the meantime, thanks so much, Karl, and congratulations. Let's call back Oliver and Orion. These gentlemen just did fantastic, and I hope that your being here and the brilliance you showed on stage should inspire our college contestants to sign up and join BQB. In the meantime, thank you all for joining us. We'd also like to thank French Baker for feeding us in this competition, and to everyone at home, see you all soon for the season premiere of Bilyonaryo Quiz B College Edition. We'll see you next time.